Right, where are we going next?
We are going on to a returning subject, just like the McLaren and Ferrari battle. We're going to talk about the battle of the teammates. And it's always been important throughout the season, but it just gets so much more important as we get closer to the end. We've mentioned it on the podcast before, and I can probably continue to mention it until the championship has been decided in 4 races' time. As it stands, Bottas is on 185 points and Perez is on 165 points. 20 points between them. Interestingly, there's only 19 points between Max and Lewis, so both parts of the team are in real fights for P1 and P3, respectively, and how both these fights are going to impact the championship. And there's obviously only 1 point separating Red Bull from Mercedes, so now more than ever do both drivers in the team need to make sure that they perform. Obviously, we've spoken about Bottas this weekend and how he was unlucky, but maybe cutting through the grid would have done him and the team some favours because that gap has closed. It was 40 points a couple of weeks ago back at the United States, or I can't remember where we went before then, but a couple of weeks ago it was 40 points, and here we are, 1 point separating the Constructors' Championship. And I can't remember for the life of me the last time Mercedes have even been close, or where a team has ever been close to this Mercedes, where a team has been this close to Mercedes, should I say. Sorry about that. But it's interesting to see. Like, I never thought going into this year Perez and Bottas would have such an impact on this championship, and they are. It's literally in their hands now. Max and Lewis are finishing P1 and P2, and that's absolutely fine. They can fight till the very end. Switching places, I don't mind, but Bottas and Perez, so much pressure because the Constructors' Championship is going to go down to them. Like, Max and Lewis can't do any more. First and second is pretty good, but Perez and Bottas, wow, like, the pressure is on. And at the moment, Perez is doing a good job finishing P3. Was this his second consecutive podium?
It's his third.
This year. His third. There we go. So he's doing everything he possibly can, and Bottas is just slowly, just isn't doing enough. Alex, talk us through it. I'm tripping over my words here. I'm just so excited about this battle, but talk us through the battle of the teammates, or the battle of the wingmen, as I think you've called it before.
I just remembered that one of my bold predictions for this season was that Bottas would finish behind both Red Bull drivers. So getting closer
it's not
to
out of the
one
question.
Of those.
Yeah, I mean, if Lewis can overcome the 19-point deficit to Max to win the championship, Perez can overturn, the 20-point deficit to Bottas and take P3. It's not out of the question.
Yeah, I hadn't actually really thought as much about the Battle of the Wingmen, but now you mention it, it is a big deal here because, like you say, Bottas didn't score, and Perez ended up on the podium, so it was a big one. And Perez, in case it weren't clear enough already, has absolutely.
Did he win the championship?
It did seem that way, didn't it?
Does it look like it?
After he finished the race, but. He's absolutely vindicated in the decision to put him in that seat. He's obviously done really well. He seems to have found a bit more of a rhythm, like you say, third podium in a row. Much more of what we expect from him, which is good. Actually acting as a solid teammate for Max Verstappen. That was abundantly clear in the post-race celebrations. There's obviously a very good feeling around the team between the two of them. I thought that Perez's response after the race was very touching. He's like, I'm so happy that we've won in my country. And it was a huge party atmosphere. It was absolutely fantastic. Some 370,000 odd fans at the stadium. Absolutely incredible. And the fact that he wasn't able to get past Hamilton in the end didn't seem to dampen their spirits at all. They were still absolutely well up for it, both the fans and the team, and Perez himself. So, yeah, it was really good for Perez. I think that both of us were a little bit confused by the decision in Red Bull not to pit him earlier. They seem to leave him out a very long time, and both of us are going, why is Perez not pitted? Like, I don't understand why they seem to think they might have a bigger tyre advantage. And it did seem that they had an advantage later on, but it wasn't enough to get the move done. And Perez didn't really seem to get into a sort of dangerous enough point. It didn't feel like he was ever really harassing Hamilton. He was close enough to be in DRS range, but that alone was not enough to cause enough of a threat. And then there was a point where he dropped back, and then he pulled in again, and then he dropped back again, and then he pulled in. Like, I've got it in my notes here about all the times where he keeps closing in, and now Perez is going back again, and lap 28. Now Perez is closing in again, and lap 33. Why hasn't Perez boxed? Hamilton is simply just closing the pit gap now that he's got fresher tyres. And it was some 7 or 8 laps later that Perez actually did pit. Fantastic stop from Red Bull crew. Then lap 46, I've got a note here that says that AWS reckons that it's 13 laps to Perez overtake. Not only do they know how many, or they reckon they know how many laps it's going to be, there's also like a percentage chance of overtake as well. I don't understand it. They're making it up as they go along, as far as I'm concerned. But it didn't happen in the end. Nonetheless, it was still a good result. And the Battle of the Wingmen is in a funny old place again. So, but you'd be fools to discount Mercedes. So I think that there's still going to be plenty of excitement. I hope that Red Bull don't just walk away with it now. I hope that Verstappen doesn't walk away with it, because this championship has been so close for so long. Give me that right down to the wire. You know, give me that. Give me that Hamilton in 2008 winning the world championship on like the final corner. Give me that moment. I want something like that. That would be great. That'll really be the cherry on top of a magnificent championship. So